Welcome to Members on the Mic with Troy Chamber of Commerce, where we connect with Troy Chamber members as they give us a glimpse into their company and share some of the great business lessons they've learned along the way. Hi, everyone. I'm Tara Thompson-Cusack, President and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here with our amazing guest host and Vice President of the Chamber, Sheila Dunstead.
Hello, everyone.
Nice to see you. First and foremost, I'd like to take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. Stay tuned for our commercial break in the center where you can learn how you can rely on Trion. Hey, we've got a great show lined up for you all today.
We absolutely do. Today, we're here with member on the mic, Josh Fett with Cinch IT. Josh is the owner of Cinch, which is in Troy, Michigan, in a really wonderful building on Big Beaver and Crooks Road. Cinch is a technology company that helps businesses become more efficient and secure. He's also, Josh is, a cybersecurity professional, a graduate of Baker College, another Troy Chamber member. And he has two boys, ages 2 and 4, and amazingly, a wife with the same name as our president and CEO, but spelled a little differently.
A little differently, it's okay.
Tara. Welcome, Josh.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Come tell us a little bit more about you and Cinch IT.
Well, I started in construction, surprisingly.
Again, correlation.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
All right.
No, but did that for a while and realized what I wanted to do when I grew up was in construction. I wanted to spend more time with my family. So I went back to school, got a degree, which why I felt to throw it in there, and started Cinch about a couple months ago, and it's been fun ever since.
Excellent, excellent. Well, tell us, why would we need to secure our data? What's information security look like, and why do we need it?
There's a number of reasons. From a business standpoint, you'd be protecting your data just to make sure that you stay in business is the overall goal. You have a reputation on top of it. If you happen to leak or lose data, it can do more than just financially damage the company. It can ruin your reputation and make it difficult to come back. Then you can get into really nerdy stuff like technical reasons, like HIPAA compliance or any of the other financial or, government regulated industries or regulated things.
I love that you like to geek out at things. It cracks me up when you say that's geeky, but HIPAA compliance is pretty darn important. I will say that.
It's a term of endearment, so it's any of the other geeks out there. I'm not being mean.
Yeah.
Well,
I am one.
Well, with talking about geeking.
We get all so excited about this stuff, so.
I have a really huge question before Tara gets into her next one. Is it data or data?
It is wherever you are from is how it's pronounced.
Okay, all right.
So it's data for me. What is it for you, Sheila?
Data.
All right, cool. We're still Midwest. That's a good
Data.
sign. So perfect. So question for you. What is the biggest cybersecurity threat right now that businesses are looking at?
So I could, again, geek out and, talk about ransomware and all that buzzword stuff. But actually, it's going to be your employees. And it's not going to be mean. They're not doing it maliciously. It's comes down to training. No matter how well you've designed your network or how great your network is, there's always going to be a weak link, and it's always going to be employees.
So when you're saying it's employees are the threat, what happens? So are you saying like an employee clicks a link, or what do you mean by that?
Definitely, yeah. They unintentionally click a link, answer an email, switch your payroll records to someone else who happens to be in another country.
Man, yeah, that sounds not like the best idea.
None of them done intentionally. It's just humans. We make errors.
The Prince of Abu Dhabi really didn't want to get to know me?
No, he really did, but he needed money for you to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Wrong person.
Yeah, that's no fun. But
On radio, I was being sarcastic. That probably doesn't come through.
It translated. Don't you worry one bit. We're all right with that. Well, thank you so much. But hey, I'd love to take a quick break and introduce our presenting sponsors commercial. So let's take a quick second and take a peek at Trion Solutions.
What do you do when your business needs to find ways to become more efficient and stabilize costs? Rely on Trion, one of the nation's largest and most respected professional employer organizations. Businesses small and large rely on Trion to reduce the stress and burden of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, workers' compensation, regulatory compliance, and other HR issues. See how Trion can help your business at RelyOnTrion.com.
Welcome back to Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce. We're here with Josh from Cinch IT, but now I'd love to ask you some random, it might be a dumb question. I don't know if it is, but
No such thing.
we'll see. I get bombarded with software updates. My computer can sometimes be an absolute train wreck. Am I supposed to be accepting all of these things? Am I supposed to be paying attention to the whole Microsoft Windows 11? What's going on in this?
Well,
See, it was kinda dumb, right?
No, there's multiple questions in there. From a business case, I guess I should preface it the entire conversation that any updates you should be doing. We'll just start there.
So question though, before you go too far on that, should we be doing personally or should we be working with like our IT provider to do? That is a whole different
Great
beast. Because that
question.
goes back to that whole, they press a link and the world implodes. So
Yes, both.
Okay.
From a personal standpoint, where your, Cinch IT isn't managing your network, you should be upgrading or updating your own computer. Microsoft pushes out patches, usually security and elsewhere, that should be up to date. I preface that if you own a business, there's some use cases that you don't upgrade from Windows 7, even though you should.
Why?
Some of your business software may only operate with that, and there's things Cinch IT or your internal IT team can do to make that as secure as it can while still keeping your business functioning.
So with that being said, like you said, from Windows 7 to you said it's 11? Is that the new one? I don't know what
Windows
11 is.
11.
So why would you upgrade? Is it really just about compatibility or?
So right now, Windows 11 is new.
Okay.
So if you don't have Windows 10, yes, you should upgrade to Windows 11. If you have Windows 10, you have till, I think it's October 2025 is what they call end of life, meaning security patches will come out from Microsoft until October 2025.
So it's kind of like the whole transition when like my phone provider kicked my dad off the flip phone to go to smartphones. Like you have to make this change to move forward in life.
Well, no, you don't have to make the change, except you're susceptible to all sorts of security vulnerabilities, mainly.
Okay, makes sense.
And the older it gets, compatibility with new things that come out and all the other nerd stuff.
So before Sheila goes into her question, so I learned something the other day, and this could still be false, and I'm not sure about this. Do I have to shut my computer off? And again, this is me really not tech savvy. Do I need to shut my computer off for these updates to happen? Do I need to be plugged in? Because I now work from a laptop. I'm used to the desktop. I take my computer home with me every day, and I realized I was missing probably 13 updates. It was a bad week of shutdowns.
The computer does need to be on.
Okay.
It needs to be on. You can hit the update, and typically it'll prompt you from Windows. It'll say update and restart or update and shut down. You could do either of those. But keeping in mind, if you hit update and shut down, when you turn it back on, there might be more to.
So not keep pressing the word ignore.
No, we
Good
can't
to know.
talk anymore. You're not allowed to be on this podcast now.
Sorry. I have to geek out a little too. But go ahead, Sheila. Sorry.
I was going to say, a lot of times people ask those questions and say, asking for a friend. No, she's truly
No, I'm dead
asking for
serious.
her.
Yeah, I had my computer shut down like 5 times last week. It was a bad week for me.
Cinch IT, we do it after hours typically.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Good.
That way you don't see it and your computer's just up and running every time.
And it removes me from swearing in the office.
It also
profusely.
keeps you from hitting ignore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
All right, so my question actually is a bit personal, but also something that I've talked to our members about. A lot of us have kids. They're on computers. They're on all sorts of digital devices. What can we do to protect them from the Prince of Abu Dhabi and others that are out there?
That actually is an easy answer. It goes back to our earlier conversation. It's going to be training. You're going to have to show your kids what a ransomware email looks like or what a Prince of Abu. No, yeah, we don't have to keep using that example,
And
but
again,
it's on
the prince
tongue.
is a wonderful guy.
Oh,
We
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
this is the case.
don't know
They're
the case.
impersonating the prince.
Yes,
It's okay.
so what a faulty email looks like, just to be vigilant would be the best word for it, especially as they come of age. In terms of the social media that they're using, that still is a training, something that a parent should take into their own hands and show their children what's acceptable, what's not. The internet isn't going away. So one aspect is it's going to follow you longer than it did for me and my generation when I did as a kid isn't going out there because there was nothing there. Training, and then if you really want to get geeky, you can limit their Wi-Fi access after hours.
Oh, my God.
You can limit where they can go. We can put a firewall on there. You can limit what sites they can visit, what sites they can't. but that gets real authoritarian.
Or you have a child who can figure out how to get around said firewall.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's a smart
yes.
kid.
My kids will I won't be able to do much for them.
Yeah.
They're still young enough, though,
Yes,
right
I
now.
can still tell
so
them that they have to stay in the room.
literally baby steps is good for your guys' group.
But yes,
so.
if your son is techie at all,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
you can ask me for some help.
I was going to say, yeah, because he'd be excited to stay in his room because he has his computer in there. So it doesn't really work for us.
And he probably enjoys the word geek out because that's probably more his speed anyways.
Yes.
So, well, speaking of all the training, that leads us back into one of my favorite parts of the podcast. We have a segment that we do in every podcast, and it is called Did You Know? So, Sheila, take it away.
Tara, let me ask you, did you know that 2022 is going to be our year of member education?
No way.
Well, yes, it is. It's going to be because we've listened to our members. They've told us what they need, and education ranks right up there with networking. We're looking at different opportunities throughout the year to educate our members by hopefully using our members, too, to do those education opportunities. So, Josh, we may be reaching out to do something on cybersecurity. Just warning you.
I'm in.
Well, now I know, and you know, too.
All right, Josh, another question for you if you're ready.
Shoot.
What can our members do to protect their data?
So data in the
There's
New
a
York,
story behind
California,
that. I need
data
to know
for the Midwest.
where that came from. So what can members do? Well, we touched on it earlier. Keep everything updated, best of your abilities. Make sure you have a dedicated IT team, either internally or a plug, Cinch. Gonna, beat the dead horse, but training.
Okay.
Training for your employees is a big one. It doesn't have to be any crazy training, but letting your employees know the difference between the threats that are out there, what they're actually up against, and what they can do. Multi-factor authentication, that's a buzzword now, but that's true. More than,
Explain that
Yeah,
a little
please.
bit. You
Computers
just
for
buzzword?
dummies,
Wow.
yes.
computers for dummies. Well,
Yes.
on top of using complex passwords or passphrases now, you can use multi-factor authentication. So you can it would prompt you for a username, password, and then it would ask for either a timed code that you can use through an app on your phone, or you can just use your cell phone SMS text messages. We won't get into how that could be a security risk because none of us are Jack Dorsey. All the nerds out there know what I'm talking about. But it's, I told you I'd go nerdy. It won't make sense.
It makes me smile.
I'd have to explain way too much.
We
to
have half
explain
of our
it, so.
geek audience giggling right now, so
Yes.
I'm all about this.
All six of us. So multi-factor. So what would happen is you would sign in, and you would get a text message with the code. Then you would add that code to whatever you're trying to sign in, and just a layer of security.
So when we're talking security again, and I this is a different question, but people are always talking about passwords. So obviously, should I not have password 1, 2, 3, 4 all the time? And should I be changing my passwords per thing I'm using? Like, talk me through what is the best practice for that?
So as time goes on, we get better at things. You were always expected to change your password every 90 days. It should be complex. It shouldn't be password with dollar signs, but
An exclamation
points, that doesn't make it secure. But over time, we realized what prompts that when everyone has to change their password over 90 days, 60, 90 days, whatever it is, people start writing it down. Or just adding a 1 at the end of the same password that they had. So
we don't do that.
This hurts my soul.
I know.
But to have a complex password, 16 characters or more, something that you would remember, but it is very long and complex, is the best way. You can use a password manager even, but...
What are password managers? People have been talking about that. And I know that, is that like an app where they keep track of everything? But how do we know that's safe? Like, couldn't someone break into that and then get all of our passwords?
Therein lies the philosophical question that we could talk about forever.
Chicken or the egg, baby. Chicken or
tree in
the
the
egg.
Chicken or the egg. Password manager, when you have a lot of passwords, because using the same password for one is not great. Having one source where they're all stored with a really long, complex password to get into with multi-factor authentication that uses, we'll say, the app instead of SMS text messages would be the best bet. Because instead of using the same password across multiple, sites or whatever you use, you could use multiple different passwords, which makes it if someone gets one, you don't have to worry about the 13 others.
So I guess that makes sense that's probably smarter than pressing forgot password every time again.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
You have
Great.
given away all of our tricks of the trade.
Yeah. Just for the record, after this podcast, you guys are going to have to go and fix everything.
Yes, we actually just learned that right now. So thank you so much.
That's what I'm here for.
So Josh, is there any last things you'd love to share with us?
If you have any questions for me, you could go to cinchit.com and learn about what we do. I'm up there under Troy, in case you want to call me, say hi. That's really about it that I have.
All right, sounds good.
Well, we'd like to thank you for being today's member on the mic. And again, it's Josh Fett, Cinch IT. Thank you so much for sharing so many different nuggets for our members to take away to use at their businesses and share with their teammates and employees.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And that's all we have today for Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. For more information on upcoming events or to join the Chamber, please go to troychamber.com. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your day.